tackling them slash going about them slash what to do when you've accomplished them. Ooh, howdy. I know what you're thinking. Why am I wearing a Pinterest shirt when I'm not even on Pinterest? Well, it's really soft and it's one of my favorite shirts. We are going to be talking about goals, how to achieve them, my tips and tricks for tackling them slash going about them slash what to do when you've accomplished them. So I wanted to start off by first and foremost saying if you are trying to achieve a goal and you want to do something, whether that be a side hustle, a business, a new hobby, my biggest suggestion, and much like this suggestion and all other suggestions is based off of my own personal experience, is to find something that's already within your wheelhouse and your interest. Because I have found that the things that I try that are new always work out best when it's something that I'm already skilled at or that I already have an interest in and have a proven interest in doing. So look back at what you do every day. What are you already doing as a hobby that could maybe be turned into a side hustle or a business? There's a lot of things now with how much is accessible with social media and being able to build a website and all that other fun stuff that we are in a world where you can the possibilities are quite endless. So look at what you're already doing and then build off that idea-wise. So, if you're already making, if you already knit, start knitting hats and selling them on Etsy. If you start selling well on Etsy, build your own Shopify store and so on and so forth. So that's one of my biggest suggestions when it comes to accomplishing a goal that you are setting for yourself. This one might come as a surprise to you, but if you want to accomplish a goal today, right now, look back and try to think of any goals you might have set for yourself in the past. Because another thing that I have found when trying to accomplish my goals is that they end up looking a lot different than when I was thinking of them and what I expected for them. So I challenge you to look back at all of your past goals and think about, were they accomplished? Did I accomplish them? Did they look a little bit different? I just found that anytime I try to set a goal, most of the time they end up looking so different that I barely recognize the fact that I accomplished that goal. Which kind of leads me into my next tip, and that's to write it down. Write down your goals. I have been cheesy and I've put them on a sticky note and stuck them on my wall in my bedroom or in the kitchen, and I always reflect on them and I always looked at them, and sure enough, I accomplished them. There was one that I set a goal for myself to achieve something 40 days from when I wrote it, and sure enough, without even trying, because I probably looked at it every single day, I ended up accomplishing that goal to the day. So I urge you to write them down somewhere, or if you have a really good memory, honestly, you don't even have to write them down if you can trust yourself to remember, but I urge you to write them down or to keep them somewhere, just because, like I said, they can look different when you finally accomplish them, and if you don't recognize that you accomplished a goal, you don't get as much satisfaction out of it. So I urge you to write it down somewhere, type it out in a Google Drive. Another tip to go along with writing it down is to tell someone about it. Not many people get to follow you along your journey of life, and obviously you, me, myself, and I are the person that follows you throughout your entire journey. But I think it's always good to have one person in your life, whether that be a best friend, loved one, boyfriend, mom, dad, brother, sister, what have you, that can follow you through your journey and hold you accountable to accomplishing the goals you set for yourself. And that's not, to say that they should do it in a rude way. It's just having them ask you about it every now and then might help you stay on track and might help you better accomplish the goal. So I recommend telling somebody, because then they get to be a part of your life journey, and on top of that, it helps you to hold yourself accountable to accomplish the goals that you set for yourself. Another tip I have is to not always set super long-term big goals. I think it's always good to have those in the back of your mind, but to set little goals for yourself that you can maybe do in a couple of weeks or a month, because that way you can feel accomplished at every step of the juncture, and you're working toward these large goals, because Rome wasn't built in a day. The large goals that you set for yourself are not going to happen in, even maybe a given year. For example, I set this big goal for myself with starting my own business, and I've set smaller goals along the way to work toward that. Will that goal ever be accomplished? At what point will I consider it successful? I don't know, because I think it always changes. So that's why I think it benefits to set smaller goals for yourself. Having those big goals in mind and know you're contributing to that big goal, you can tackle it a lot better, and you can, like I said, feel accomplished along the way, which I think ultimately makes everyone feel a lot better as they're working towards something. And my last tip when it comes to accomplishing your goals is to treat yourself to something when you accomplish them. It can be anything. It can be, upgrading something that you already own, like a laptop, or buying that article of clothing that you've been looking at for a couple months now, if you're like me and you do a lot of research before you buy something, or I don't even say research, but a lot of pondering, I guess. I would say treating yourself to something, even if it's a meal. I would think that treating yourself and giving yourself that incentive to complete a goal is a good way to trick yourself into pushing forward, especially if you're like, hey, I know this goal, I want to accomplish it, I know it will be good for me, but I know it's going to be hard. I think it's great to give yourself some incentive in that situation so that you can constantly be pushing yourself and have that light at the end of the tunnel when you're working toward accomplishing this goal that you set for yourself. So, thank you so much for listening. I hope you were able to get something out of all of these tips and tricks. If you liked this video, be sure to like it. And if you want to subscribe for more content from me and fun people that I bring on my channel, then be sure to subscribe. And otherwise, I hope you all have an amazing day, and feel free to comment below if you are currently going after a goal to maybe keep yourself accountable for it and say that you're going to complete something. It could be something you want to complete in a day, a week, what have you. I think it's always great to put it out into the world, because then I feel like it has a better chance of surviving. But other than that, have an amazing day, and I will see you all soon.